conference, the Leader of the Opposition invited 2 suspected IRA terrorists to Parliament. When the man responsible for planting that bomb was put on trial, he protested outside the court. The Shadow Chancellor said that, quote, those people involved in the arms struggle, people he said had used, quote, bombs and bullets, should be honoured. And they have the brass neck to lecture anybody about the rule of law. What a disgrace. Let me tell you this.
Point of order, Graham Davis.
Stan, this debate is about obeying the rule of law, whether Prime Minister obeys the rule of law, not whether members talk to people who allegedly have broken the law. It's about whether we deliver the rule of law.
Deeply grateful to the honourable gentleman, and his antennae are keenly attuned to the debate. There is a fine dividing line. The honourable gentleman is dilating on the broad theme of disregard bordering upon contempt for the law. If I think he has elided into a wholly different subject, then I will always profit by the honourable gentleman's counsels. But for now, he's all right, just. But I do warn the honourable gentleman that I hope his speech tonight, given that many other people wish to contribute, is not going to be as long as the speeches he used to deliver at the Students' Union at the University of Essex 36 years ago, when we jousted together. It needs to be shorter. Mr. Ian Austin.
Well, Mr. Speaker, my speeches then were a lot shorter than yours.
Well, that may be, but what I would say to the honourable gentleman is that by common consent, mine were considerably better. Mr. Ian Austin.
Well, I'm not going to argue that point, Mr. Speaker. But look, this is a debate about whether politicians can be trusted to obey the rule of law. And there's not a single Labour figure in the past, not a single one, who would have backed violent street protest, as the Shadow Chancellor did, when he called for, quote, insurrection to bring down the government, or praised rioters who he said had kicked the SHIT out of the Conservative Party's offices, or talked, well, she might not want to hear it, but I tell you this. Well, I'm not going over there. Well, I've explained why I'm not going over there. But I'll tell you this. I'm here because voters in Dublin send me here to represent them. Well, and my views and the things I stand up for, decency in politics, the rule of law, none of these things have changed, and everybody in Dudley knew exactly what I thought of these people at the last election. And I'll tell you this, I'll tell the honourable lady this, I'm going to make absolutely certain that she's going to have to answer to her voters for these points at the next election. All right? Well, we'll see. Now, yeah, don't worry about that. And no other senior figure in the Labour Party's history,
wow.
No other senior figure in the Labour Party's history would have joked about lynching a female member of Parliament. They don't believe in the rule of law abroad either, Mr. Speaker. They always back the wrong side, whether it's the IRA or Hamas and Hezbollah, who they describe as friends. No previous Labour leader would have supported brutal totalitarian dictatorships like the ones in Cuba or Venezuela that have absolutely no regard whatsoever for the rule of law. And no previous Labour leadership would have allowed a party with a proud history of fighting racial prejudice to have been poisoned by racism, which is what's happened under these people. Racism against Jewish people, to the extent that members have been arrested on suspicion of racial hatred, that the party itself has become the first in history to be investigated under equalities laws by the Equalities and Human Rights Commission. These people and the people around them are a million miles away from the traditional, mainstream, decent politics of the Labour Party. They have poisoned what was once a great party with extremism. They cannot be trusted with the institutions that underpin our democracy. They are completely unfit to lead the Labour Party, let alone our country.
Graham Davis.
Mr. Speaker, our